Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Dalhousie's 2022 Spring Convocation for the Faculty of Health. My name is Frank Harvey. I am privileged to be the Provost and Vice President Academic here at Dalhousie University, and I will be your MC today. And I am sure we are all absolutely thrilled to be able to celebrate this special occasion in person. Please be seated. Please be seated. I would like to ask Elder Catherine Martin, our Director of Indigenous Community Engagement, to deliver the traditional Mi'kmaq welcome.
Kwe, adalok diok, weligiskok. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, of my ancestors and my relatives and my family. And in peace and friendship, we have shared and invited all peoples for thousands of years to come and share in our land. And especially today, it's an honor to welcome you to Mi'kma'ki, to the land of the Ulnu. Our 1752 treaty and others before and a little after ensured that the Mi'kmaq would always be able to live according to our way of life that we've lived for over 13,000 years. And because of that treaty, it was ensured by our ancestors that we would always have that right to live according to Mi'kmaq way. And that we would share everything with those who came. So welcome again, and especially to our graduates today. I've been there a few times, and don't worry about walking across the stage. Forget it. Keep the heartbeat like down here, and you'll be great. I'd also like to take this opportunity to, not to mix in sadness, but to ask everyone to please take a moment of silence to remember the children of Texas who, and their families right now. And if we send them good wishes, it will help them right now. Walaliok Emsit Nogama.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for that beautiful welcome. I would also like to begin by acknowledging that Dalhousie University and our community benefit from and sit on Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We are very grateful for our partnerships and our friendships across Dalhousie's campuses, our faculties, and our administrative units. We are grateful for our community leaders, our elders and residents, our Indigenous Advisory Council, our Director of Indigenous Community Engagement, Kathy Martin, Indigenous Student Center, Indigenous Research Facilitator in the Vice President's Research Office, Indigenous Health Programs, Inclusive Pathways to the Medical and Health Professions, and many other very important initiatives and partnerships across our campuses and our faculties, including the Faculty of Health. We will continue to work on and build on these critically important relationships and friendships because we are all treaty people and we take these words and our commitments to truth and reconciliation very seriously. We would also like to acknowledge the histories, the contributions, and the legacies of the African Nova Scotian people and communities who have been here for over 400 years. We are also grateful for our African Nova Scotian Advisory Council and our Director of African Nova Scotian Community Engagement. There are two times on our university campuses that are particularly significant. The first, of course, is when we welcome students to campus for the first time as they begin their programs. And the second is at the end of their journey, when we come together as we are today to celebrate the completion of your programs. And for many, this comes with, I assume, a range of different emotions. Sadness at leaving Dalhousie and your Dal community and friends, perhaps eagerness to move on from Dal and from Nova Scotia, possibly a little fear and anxiety about the future. and certainly gratitude for all those who supported you along the way. But among the many different emotions you and your classmates are likely going through right now, I hope you feel pride. You've accomplished what many can only dream of, and you should be proud of your significant and noteworthy achievements. Completing your degree, particularly in these unique and challenging circumstances of a global pandemic, certainly gives all of us many reasons to be incredibly proud of what you've done and what you've accomplished. Convocation marks the culmination of years of very, very hard work. You've spent hundreds of hours in classes and tutorials. You've come to campus during lockdowns to complete critical skill-based labs and simulations. You've read thousands of pages from books and journal articles and research reports. You've completed many formative and summative exams. You've completed clinical and practical fieldwork hours within various health settings, many of you supporting frontline COVID-related care delivery. You've volunteered to support pandemic-related activities, with many supporting COVID testing and vaccination clinics and site operations, and you've made many great friends. But you've also spent a good part of the last several years balancing school and work and social lives, dealing with fears and anxieties about your programs and your future, taking chances and risks on program choices and courses, dealing with relationships and social pressures, and maybe a little pressure from your parents and family. You've been managing your budget and in many cases completing your degrees while juggling one and in some cases two or more jobs to cover tuition. And I am sure you've dealt with personal and emotional crises and losses, and perhaps losses tied to the pandemic. Your graduation today speaks volumes about your capacity and willingness to succeed anywhere by applying the life lessons, the skills, the knowledge, the passions, and the life choices you've been collecting and living through over the last several years. Again, Convocation marks the end of years of very, very hard work. Don't let anyone after graduation suggest that it's, quote, time to get in the game. You've been in the game for several years, including through 2 years of a pandemic. That's why we're here today celebrating. That is why your family and friends and our entire Dalhousie community are so incredibly proud of you. So feel free to make some noise, and congratulations. Family and friends, although we would typically encourage you to walk around the auditorium and take as many pictures as you would like, for health and safety reasons, we will ask that you stay where you are, but take as many pictures as you like from your seats. We have a photographer from Life Touch who will take additional close-up photographs on your behalf, and please share all your photographs online using our hashtag DalGrad. And as always, Convocation is being webcast, so you can have the pleasure of watching and sharing the celebration through the Dal website. Now, I'd like to take a few moments to introduce those individuals who will be participating in the ceremony today, beginning with Scott Bryson, our Chancellor. If you can stand up when I call your name, if you are able. Dr. Deep Saini, President and Vice Chancellor. Dr. Louise Spiteri, Interim Chair of Senate. Dr. Brenda Merritt, Dean of the Faculty of Health. Dr. Marty Leonard, Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies. Elder Catherine Martin, our Director of Indigenous Community Engagement, who delivered the beautiful traditional Mi'kmaq welcome a few moments ago. Aaron Prosper, a Dal grad in neuroscience, who is the former Dal Student Union President. Adam Robertson, Assistant Vice President, Academic and University Registrar, who carried the Dalhousie new staff, leading our graduates into the ceremony today. Thank you, Adam, and thank the entire RO team for the logistical nightmare associated with 17 convocations, so thank you and your team. And Dr. Debbie Martin, Professor with the Faculty of Health, who will be delivering our convocation address today. Also on the platform today and in the audience are many other faculty and staff and administrators, including your deans and your VPs and many others who have been so critical to the success of our students and the academic excellence of our program. So can I ask all of you as well to stand up? Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd now like to invite Dr. Deep Saini to deliver the President's remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Harvey. Graduates, families and friends, and distinguished guests, a very warm welcome to all of you today. I see people trying to keep cool, so that warm welcome could have a slightly different meaning than what my intentions are. What an honor and what a profound pleasure it is to be here finally with you, to have this opportunity to join you in person for this convocation. After 2 very difficult years for all of you and for everybody in this room in different ways, years that kept us physically apart, it is a very welcome return to this important rite of passage. Today's ceremony blends long-standing traditions with appropriate adjustments for the times that we are living through. The mask you're wearing is one of those adjustments. And it is also a nod to the place where Dalhousie is anchored, this beautiful part of Mi'kma'ki that we call Nova Scotia our home. The ceremony that we are in is a celebration of your transition from students to graduates and alumni. But even more importantly, and in fact far more importantly, it is a celebration of your achievements. This milestone is a very well-earned personal recognition of your efforts and abilities, and a source of great pride for both you and your supporters. Class of 2022, you know it only too well that it would be an understatement, in fact a gross understatement, to say that the last couple of years did not play out exactly how any of us would have imagined. But regardless of the incessant challenges that the circumstances threw at you since the beginning of 2020, here you are. Despite what you were given, look at what you've done with it. You met your goal, and here you are, receiving a testament to your perseverance, resilience, grit, and determination. And that merits a loud round of applause from all of us. Bravo. I know it wasn't the student experience you had imagined, but you overcame great obstacles to make to this very special day. You traveled, some of you very far. Along the way, navigating evolving restrictions here in Canada and abroad. You adapted and collaborated and made the most of online learning, gaining new skills and insights, and in the process, helping create and then refine a whole new paradigm for how the university educations will be delivered and received. Many of the lessons that we have learned through these shared experiences of ours will endure, offering new and better learning tools to the future generations. So someday, you will look back and proudly recall that this is where it all began, and you were at the center of it all. You have not had it easy, but I dare to imagine that someday you will also look back and realize, and that is if you don't already do so, that this experience has made you stronger. Perhaps it has made you more resilient, more creative, more innovative, more empathetic, and more civic-minded, more conscious of how the actions of one affect so many, and more committed to striving for a better tomorrow. And these are precisely the traits that our world needs today. Over the past 2 years, the phrase, the new normal, has become an increasingly familiar part of our lexicon. However, if you think about it, for the society to enter a new normal is nothing unique in itself. After all, the human history is full of major turning points of similar magnitude. So what is unique about our new normal? Well, the uniqueness of this particular new normal resides in the confluence of daunting and often wicked challenges that it coincides with. You know what these challenges are, but I'm going to list a few just to remind us all. Climate change and its looming impacts. The recognition of on an unprecedented scale that the historical wrongs, and there are many, must be righted. The need to feed projected population of about 9 billion or perhaps even more without destroying our planet. The challenges that the democracy, peace, and global order are facing today, and the senseless violence that we continue to see in our communities that Kathy Martin was alluding to as she asked us for a moment of silence. And the last, and definitely not the least, the new global public health challenges. And you are at the center of all of that. And these are not challenges just in terms of public health alone, but how public health intersects with so many other challenges. It intersects with climate change. Mental health and violence have a relationship. Equity and health have a lot to do with each other, and I could go on. So you and your profession and the skills that you have earned, the degrees that you have earned, they all reside at the center of this challenge and the solutions that we must find. I'm sure some of you, hopefully not all of you, are wondering, what is this clown doing here talking about all these depressing things on a very happy occasion? So let me assure you that this is not without a point, and I am about to get to that point. Well, the task in front of you will not be easy. It will indeed demand a great deal of you, but your generation has demonstrated again and again that you have what it takes to overcome extreme circumstances, such as what you have just gone through over the last 2 years and 3 months. When I see what you have overcome over the past 2 years, and especially how you have overcome it, and what you have accomplished, and what you have become as a result, I feel totally confident that the world is in very, very competent hands. So let's get to the happier things. Today is a big day. As you cross the stage today and become a member of the worldwide community of graduates, you also join the Dalhousie alumni family, a family that is a group of distinguished people that has, in fact, already left an indelible mark on societies around the world. I have no doubt that you will uphold this tradition. And the years to come will see you, too, achieve great things, both for yourselves and for the world, and especially for the world. While you do so, I hope you will retain fond memories of your time here at Dalhousie and your roots at your alma mater. You, our graduates, are the greatest source of joy and pride for us all. So on behalf of Dalhousie University, please accept my heartfelt congratulations and very best wishes for your brilliant future that I'm certain you richly deserve. Thank you very much. Congratulations again, and please stay in touch.
Thank you, President Saini. Will graduates please rise? Mr. Chancellor, as Chair of the Senate of Dalhousie University, I ask you to confer degrees on those candidates whose names have been approved by Senate.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in Dalhousie University. I admit to their respective degrees and diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto those candidates who have fulfilled the requirements of that degree and whose names have been approved by the Senate. Admitto vos ad gradum.
Graduates, please be seated.
I'd now like to call upon Dr. Brenda Merritt, the Dean of the Faculty of Health, Dr. Marty Leonard, the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, and Olivier Blais, an order from the Fountain School of Performing Arts, who will present the candidates who are here today receiving degrees.
Mr. Chancellor, as Dean, I am pleased to be here today to celebrate the accomplishments of candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for degrees within the Faculty of Health.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates are here today to receive the Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy. Zina Mushtaq Al-Jarbawi, with distinction. Madison Maria Blake. Gabrielle Renee Boudreau. Jenna Alexandra Brecken, with distinction. Emily Rose Brown, with distinction. Marsha Lee Sabrina Amoy Brown. Brandon Joel Campbell, with distinction. Callie Campbell. Carolyn Mary Chiasson, with distinction. Emily Natalie Cotreau. Julian Michael D'Entremont. James Patrick Davis. Nicholas Brian Doubelstein. Kira Cheryl Doiron. Courtney Ann Donovan, with distinction. Tim Druniak with distinction. Ainsley Eileen Dukers with distinction. Emily Sharon Edgecombe. Colby Lynn Edwards with distinction. Emma Victoria Elizabeth England with distinction. Charles Erdos. Camille Frenette. Elise Gabin. Laura Andrea Gunter with distinction. Layla Had with distinction. Caitlin Nicole Hanscom. Naomi Shanta Hayden. Twana Hiltz. Jennifer Oi Fung Hum. Emma Dawn Jensen with distinction. Jaden Brian Jones. Zena Adli Kassab. Lauren Rose Kennedy with distinction. Zachary James Kennedy. Sarah Suyeon Kim. Michelle Alana Lavesky. Kylie Ann Landry with distinction. Louise Emma Larad. Lauren Elizabeth Lavers. Megan Mary London. Jennifer Shirley McDonald with distinction. Kylan James McIntyre with distinction. James Donald Richard McMillan with distinction. Rachel Marie McMillan with distinction. Olivia Jade Manson. Olivia Dawn Madison with distinction. Martin Matuvi. Madison Elisa McGilvray with distinction. Mitchell Joseph John McGrath. Joel Jonathan McLeod with distinction. Caitlin Alyssa McLeod with distinction. Katie Wallace Miller. Rachel Louise Murray with distinction. Bromlin J. Alexandra Mira with distinction. Rena Abdelrahim Naji. Joanne Van Habao Nguyen. Kayla Lynn Nice with distinction. Logan Andrew Nickerson with distinction. Kem Ogoti. Liam Michael Waycott Olland. Jordan Orsatti. Lauren Alexandria Pellerin with distinction. Nicole Ashley Poirier with distinction. Brooke Lynn Richards with distinction. Hannah Grace Saunders with distinction. Emma Daphne Smith. Mackenzie Margaret Smith. Caitlin Maria Sponigal. Maggie Summers. Kaylee Margaret Stevens Clark. Cecily Grace Strongman with distinction. Brittany Nicole Sutherland. Joelle Amira Tulaney. Zara Varmini. Amanda Vaughn. June Rita Amy Vickers with distinction. Jennifer Lynn White. Katrina Josephine Wicca. Jamie Zuri with distinction. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates are here today to receive the Bachelor of Social Work. Kendra Baltzer with distinction. Laura Claire Blinn with distinction. Victoria Barbara Boutillier with distinction. Hannah Carmichael Brown with distinction. Terry Lee Buffet with distinction. Caitlin Cunningham. Caitlin Curry with distinction. Gabrielle DeGoyer with distinction. Lindsay Diane Drake. Amanda Louise Fenton. Rachel Michaela Giffen with distinction. Caitlin Michelle Hashem with distinction. Brooke Angelina Johnson. Sarah Jessica Liberty with distinction. Kaylee McKean with distinction. Andrea Marie McKinnon with distinction. Abigail McAllister with distinction. Hannah Francis Moore with distinction. Brooke Emily Gale Murphy. Ashley Parker with distinction. Brianna Michelle Peters with distinction. Shaylin Jasmine Margaret Paul. Cameron Upton with distinction. Mr. Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of candidates who are here today to receive the bachelor's degree.
Mr. Chancellor, as Dean, I'm pleased to be here today to celebrate the accomplishments of candidates who fulfilled the requirements for degrees within the Faculty of Graduate Studies.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates are here today to receive the Master of Social Work. Florence Yizera Ada. Aisha Akbar Ali. Jessica Rose Ali. Sylvie Bork. Sarah Ann Cummings. Susan Amanda Devlin. Katie Mary Fortier. Alexis Elizabeth Gentle. Meredith Rose Gregg. Allison Elizabeth Hill. Gino James. Chandra Lepoudre. Jason McKenzie. Stacy Loretta Oliver. Kelly Jean O'Neill Morin. Amanda Lynn Paul. Gabrielle Perrick. Nicole Reston. Mr. Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of those candidates who are here today to receive the master's degree.
At the risk of being redundant, one more round of applause for all of our graduates today. I would now like to call attention to the families and friends of our graduates today. We know that Convocation is an important occasion for all of you as well, and I'm sure all of us recognize the important role that your love and your support has played along the way. So we would like to express our gratitude to you for that role. So if I can ask the graduates to please stand up one more time, if you are able, and the onstage party as well. Graduates, your family and friends have been applauding you throughout our Convocation ceremony today. Now it's your turn and our turn to make some noise in honor of them for their support. Please be seated. Thank you.
What a happy occasion. Dr. Debbie Martin is a Tier 2 Canada Research Chair in Indigenous Peoples' Health and Wellbeing and an Inuk Professor in the School of Health and Human Performance. Dr. Martin is an interdisciplinarily trained health researcher whose research interests focus on addressing key societal and community level structures that influence chronic disease prevention as it relates to strengthening our relationship to the land, water, air, and ice. It is with great pleasure that I now invite Dr. Debbie Martin to address the convocation.
President Saini, Provost Harvey, Chancellor Bryson, and other dignitaries, graduates, family, and friends. Thank you for the honor to speak here today. I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to the lands and waters of Mi'kma'ki, the unceded and ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq. One morning a couple of weeks ago, I received an email inviting me to give a convocation address on May 30th. At first, I felt incredibly flattered to have been given such an honor, but after that, the nervousness kicked in. Who am I to give a convocation address? What could I possibly say that would be of interest to a bunch of graduating students? And do you know what my next thought was? I should Google really good convocation addresses. And so I did. And let me tell you, there are some really interesting convocation addresses out there. I found one that the lead singer of U2, Bono, did at Penn State University back in 2005. That was really good. And of course, I then went down a rabbit hole and I read a bunch of more, but I guess you could say that they were all very inspiring and motivational and uplifting. But for someone who is about to give a convocation address, reading convocation addresses delivered by famous people wasn't very much help. It actually made it worse. How the heck could I compete with the likes of Bono? So I eventually stopped reading all of the amazing convocation addresses that are out there, and I started looking for tips on how to write a good one. Most of the websites that I found mention the fact that convocation addresses are never really listened to by the graduates. Which makes sense, right? You're all filled with excitement and stress and nervousness, so I can understand why you'd sort of tune out a convocation address. Unless, of course, I was Bono, which I am clearly not. So one website even advised, many speakers still think the occasion is about them. Many still seek to inspire with uninspiring words, and inevitably, half the audience is hungover and inattentive. After reading that, it actually took the pressure off a little bit, because now if I'm up here and half of you are either hungover or inattentive, then really, I don't have anything to worry about, do I? And being the mother of a 6- and 9-year-old, I'm definitely familiar with not being listened to. So then I thought, what is the message that might resonate best with you? A group of people who are celebrating not just the completion of a degree, but who are also opening the door to the next phase of your life. And what I came up with is to ask you a question. And that question is, how do you plan to measure your success? Up until today, your success was very likely defined by passing your courses and completing a degree, all the while a global pandemic and a climate crisis swirled around outside the walls of your study rooms. And this is no small feat. But now that you've achieved this goal, how will you measure your success going forward? I'm a firm believer that the universe has a plan for each and every one of us. We are all put here on earth for a purpose, a gift that's been bestowed upon us. For some of us, we learn our gift at a very young age, like when you see a 6-year-old playing Tchaikovsky on YouTube. But for the majority of us, we walk through life not knowing exactly what our gifts are, or perhaps not even knowing that we have a gift, much less what we need to do to find it. Our gifts are more deeply hidden. In the last 40 years, our material wealth overall has increased substantially within Canada, but our self-described happiness has actually declined. We've been given a measuring stick that not only moves us further away from the gifts that the universe has intended for us, but also does an incredibly effective job at damaging our relationship with Mother Earth, the relationship that we absolutely need to be nurturing if we are to find our gifts. One of my favorite authors, Robin Wall Kimmerer, argues that in an individual economy, i.e. the one in which the majority of us find ourselves, a gift is often something that you get for free. It doesn't cost anything. And when something is given to you for free, it may not hold any value. It may be something that you appreciate at the time, but when it loses its appeal, it can simply be tossed aside until the next gift comes along. In my work over the years with numerous Indigenous communities across Canada, one thing that remains consistent is that Indigenous communities have a very different understanding of a gift, whereby gifts are never free. If you are given a gift, it creates a set of relationships and responsibilities, whereby it has created an obligation of reciprocity, which means that if you are given something, you are obligated to not only treat that gift with respect, but to also reciprocate by giving even more away. And if you spend time with Indigenous knowledge keepers or elders, one of the most important life lessons you will learn is about reciprocity. The late Mi'kmaq chief Charles Labrador led a group of students through a forest, and he pointed out that all of the different species of trees were there. There were maple, birch, pine, oak. And he said, look at all of these different species of trees. They're all different, and yet they live together in the same forest. And if you look underneath the forest floor, you'll notice that the trees are actually holding hands because their roots are intertwined. And he said, we need to be more like the trees. And this is what it means to hold the gift of something called multiple perspectives. It's the idea that there's more than one way of seeing and understanding the world, more than one way of being and understanding. And if we don't hold hands with one another, we cannot possibly hope to work together to make the world a better place for the generations to come. Connections, relationships with one another, and a sense of belonging. Notice that these are all things that COVID-19 took away from us. Perhaps taking away those things was intended as a lesson. Perhaps we need to shift our measures of success so that they measure connections, relationships, sense of belonging. If you were to measure your life in this way, how rich would you be? Reciprocity teaches us that richness doesn't come from taking unless you have a plan for giving back. And our elders teach us that if you have more than someone else, you share it, because around the next corner, it is you who might be in need of something. For many Indigenous cultures globally, wealth is not defined by material belongings at all. It is most readily found where people live with extended family and kinship networks, where there are noisy gatherings and lots of dancing and lots of food sharing. The happiest people tend to have the most community around them. Now, before I conclude, I'm sure many of you are saying, okay, but how does this relate to me finding my gift? And what would it mean for me to use a different measuring stick? And to that I would say, caring for our planet is a moral obligation, a lesson that previous generations like mine seem reluctant to admit. But I will also say this, every single generation that has come before you has had really big blind spots. We always think to look back on previous generations with something akin to moral superiority and say, they justified slavery, they justified genocide, they justified residential schools. How could they have done that? But you know what? We are currently living through our own moral blind spots, blind to the signals that Mother Earth is sending us. We need to ask whether the measuring stick we are using for success is actually measuring what we need it to. And so I encourage you to honor your gifts by nurturing your relationships to one another and to the world around you, to measure your successes and your wealth according to those gifts, rather than to any measures of material wealth. So now is your time to lead, to define your own measuring stick. Just like I'm not comparing this speech to the one that Bono wrote in 2005, nor should you compare yourself to the measuring stick that someone else has created for you. Now is your time to not only toss away that measuring stick, but to make a new one. Welcome to the Dalhousie family. Nakumek. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Your search for a beautiful, powerful, inspiring address was clearly successful, and I want to thank you personally for your help in guiding me through my path in building a legacy for Dal around Indigenous community relations that we can all be proud of. So I want to thank you for your address. Graduates, let me be the first to acknowledge that as you leave the auditorium today, you will officially become part of Dalhousie's alumni network of more than 152,000 fellow alumni around the world. This is a wonderful asset, and I hope you'll take advantage of the connection to the broader Dalhousie community. We invite you to get involved, and we invite you to stay involved. In recognition of your new status, members of the Alumni Association will present you with an alumni pin on the way out of the auditorium today, and we do hope that you will wear it with pride. Congratulations again. Welcome to the Dalhousie alumni family. Graduates and guests, the business of Convocation is concluded. After the singing of O Canada, if you could please remain standing if you are able as the academic procession leaves the auditorium. I now invite you to join Josh Robinson, a Dalhousie voice student in our Fountain School of Performing Arts, in the singing of O Canada. Thank you.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, it all of us command. Car ton bras porte le pays, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée, c'est tu brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Give me the manage, don't Delio no thing, nigga much good, my we done it. Give me the manage, don't what a big soul thing, nigga much good. Abahon madultinet, abahon madultinet, dan gisuk eliga haluk sigu ulau si amo we aheu we yo we ha ya ya we yo he yo he ha ya we 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 yo he ha ya hey yo we yo we ha ya ya we yo hey yo he ha ya we 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 yo he ha ya hey yo give me the manage down the no thing nigga much good my we done it give me the manage down what a big soul thing nigga much good abahon madultinet abahon madultinet dan gisuk eliga haluk sigu ulau si amo we aheu we yo we ha yo yo we yo he yo he ha ya we 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 yo he ha much good, my we done it. Give me the manage, done what a big soul did. Nigga much good, abahon madutinet. Hey, abahon madutinet, dan giso keliga look sigo, hula fit ambo, hey, hey, way oh, way high, ya, way oh, hey, oh, hey, high, way 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 oh, hey, high, hey, oh, way oh, way high, way oh, hey, oh, hey, high, way 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 oh, hey, high, hey, oh. Give me the manage, don't Delio no day. Nigga much stood, my we done it. Give me the manage, done what a big soul did. Nigga much stood, abahon madutinet. Hey, abahon madutinet, dan gisul teliga look sigo, hula fit amo, way ah hey oh, way oh, way high, way oh, hey oh, hey high, way 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 oh, hey high, hey oh, way oh, way high, way oh, hey oh, hey high, way 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 oh, hey high, hey oh. Way oh, way high, way oh, hey oh, hey high, way oh, hey high, way oh, hey high, way oh, hey high, way oh, hey high.